Hello. In this video, I would like to introduce data loading, viewing, renaming, and saving in RStudio. It's very important to be able to access, change, and save your data. So in this video, I will talk about these operations. First, let's talk about data loading. Use the Import Dataset option under the Environment tab. All right, so let's go through this step by step. I will open my RStudio. I can open RStudio simply by typing RStudio here. You can see that I've opened before, so it knows where to find it. And you see the layout. Right now I'm interested in the Environment tab, which is here, and I go to Import Dataset. I can import from TextBase, and let me see if I can find this data. I have it somewhere here. Let's see, it's not there, it's not there. You have to put the data where you can find it. I have it right here. It's called AAU Alumni Responses. Okay. All right. Now, here is the data as it appears. If you look at this window, this is how RStudio understands your data. Look carefully. If you look at the data, you can see that the data, as it is in the file, has a heading for each column. But RStudio is not recognizing this. It is assuming this is variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, and so on. It's not recognizing the heading properly. So I need to click heading yes. Now see what happens. This column is the timestamp column. It has been correctly identified. These will become the column names for the data frame stored in RStudio. So now it appears that the data is correct. I will import. And you can see that my data appears here. Also, the data is displayed over here. Okay? So you can see the column names and the column values. All right. What I'm going to do now is open up a new file to record some of these commands that I'm typing. So I'll take a new file and I'll call it RScript. Okay. Now the first command that I typed was this data loading command. So this data loading command is here. I think it's right here. That was the first command I typed. If I copy this to source, it will save my command for me, and I can do the same command later. The viewing of my data was accomplished by this command, view. I can also copy to source. Later on, I can run this same file and accomplish these same tasks. All right, let's go on with the tutorial. So this is what I did. I clicked Import Dataset, and I selected from. Here we did from base. I did that very quickly, but if I go to here, back to Environment, and Import Dataset, I did it from base because my data is in a CSV file. If you have an Excel file or SPSS or SAS or Stata, you can also import this data. However, RStudio will need to import some packages in order to do this. For a basic CSV file, you can use the base option. Okay. So that was the data loading. So I checked in the data frame window to see whether it was importing correctly. And I checked the heading and I clicked import. Okay. And I saved the import command to source, which is what you see up here. Okay. So I followed exactly these steps in my loading of data. Let's go on. Now I have my data loaded. Let's view data. Okay. As you can see, we already have viewed the data. Okay. And I've also introduced the source window. The console is the window below. I can also type commands directly in the console. For example, if I look up here, this is my source window. If I click back here at AAU Alumni Responses, this shows me the data I've imported. If I close this, I can view this data again by typing down here in the console window. View, parenthesis. Then I have to give the name of the data, which is here. Okay. So AAU. Now notice that RStudio will complete automatically. This makes it very easy to type commands. So this is what I want to view. I will go here. Okay, so I can view the data in this way. Another way to execute commands, I'll close this again. Another way to execute the same command is come up to the source window and click Run. And you see it will execute the same view command. So you can see two different ways to run commands. You can type in the console, or if the command is listed in a file, you may type in the file and press Run. In my tutorial, I will be using the source window because I want to save these commands. All right. So let's continue. All right, let's look at some data columns. Columns can be referred to by number or by name. For example, my frame 1 refers to the first column of my frame. All right. So in my case, I have the frame name of AAU Alumni Response. Okay. If I want to see the first column, I could type this AAU. You see it's giving me an automatic completion. Then if I want to run this, again, I just press Run. And it will show me down here the data frame. If I want to just look at the first column, I do AAU Alumni Response 1. Okay. And that will show me just the first column of data. I can pull this up and you can see it's showing the first column of data. All right, so here we are. Okay. If I want the second column of data, I can go here and type AAU Alumni Response, okay, and get the second column. Okay. Again, I can press Run. And now you can see it's showing the second column. This is the row label, and then this is the column. So you can see the second column is date. Okay. The column names can be found here. The first column was, first column is X.1, second column is timestamp, next column is age in years, and so on. In a later video, I will show you how to remove columns. For now, let me talk about how to change the column names. Well, first, let me also explain that I can refer to this column by its name. Instead of calling this the second column of the data frame, I can also refer to this column by its name. So if I go back here and I say AAU alumni responses, I'm not sure why it's not completing because I typed it wrong. AAU alumni responses, and then to refer to the column by name, I press the $sign. And it will give me the options of different column names. So I'm going to choose timestamp. All right. Now if I run this, once again it will show me all of the contents of this column. Okay. So there are two ways to refer to a column. One is by number and one is by name. Let's continue with the presentation. All right. So you can see refer by number or refer by name. Okay. If I want the names of all the columns, I simply type this function call names and then give the name of the data frame. All right. Let me show you how that works. Up here I can type call names. Let me also say that if I want to clear this window, I can hold down the control button and press L, and that will clear. So hold down control and press L. All right. So let me find the column names and then of this variable. All right. And it will list for me the names of the columns. Now these names are very, very long, so it's much better to rename them. I will show you how to rename these columns. Let me see. If I scroll up, you can see that there are 35 columns, and these names are very complicated. You've already seen timestamp. The third column is age and years, and so on. Okay. So I will show you how to change column names. All right. So, summary, we have here that you can refer to columns by number or by name. You can get the column names. I can change the column name in this way. I can, if I want to change the name of the first column to age, I want to change this list of column names so that the first entry is age. Now if I look back here, I don't really want to change the first column name to age. I want to change the third column name to age. Right? So I'm going to change the third column name to age by typing call names, and here's my data frame name. I do the automatic completion, and then this is the third column. The third column, so it should go here. So it's the column name of the third column, and I'm going to change that to age. Okay. If I run this, and we now look at the data again, I can type. If I want to view the data again, I can go up here, click there, and run, and it will view my data. And we can see now the column name is age. So we can go through and change all of these columns to be have better names. Now, I will also show you how to remove columns. That will be in a later video. Okay, so we've changed column names and we've selected columns. Let's go on. Okay. I can also change the name of the data frame. The name of this data frame is quite long. So I can make a new name and set equal and then the old name. This is called an assignment statement. You should think of the right-hand side as the old value and the left-hand side as the new value. Right-hand side is old value, left-hand side is new value. Now in R, sometimes instead of the equal sign, they use an arrow. So I'll show you this also. Let's go back and do this. Okay. So the name of my data frame here is now AAU Alumni Response. Okay. So instead of that, I want to change the name, and I'll just call it AAU. I can write AAU equals AAU alumni. There it is. Okay. All right. So if I run this command, you can see it's created this variable AAU. Now, alternatively, instead of typing AAU equals AAU alumni responses, I could type AAU left arrow AAU alumni responses. These two are exactly the same. Equals and left arrow are exactly the same. There is no difference. If I run this command, you will not see any change because it will simply recreate this same variable. All right. So in some references you will see the equal. In some references you will see the arrow. They mean the same thing. Now I have made the name shorter. I don't want the old name anymore. I can remove the old data frame by typing RM. All right, and I want to remove this one here. Okay. If I run this, then the first variable is gone. Okay. So I think I've finished this. I've shown how to rename the data frame and how to remove the original data frame. All right, now, how to save your data. We have now created data, AAU, and we want to save in a file so that we do not need to do this same operation again. This is very easy. I go to Environment. You can see there's a Save button here. Okay. And then I can simply save this wherever I want. I'll save it on desktop. And I'll call it AAU data. Okay. And then I save. All right. To recover this data, I only need to find the data in the File menu. All right. So let me go back and make sure I've covered everything. All right. Oh, I should say that the file that you created will have the extension RData. All right. So to recover the data again, I can show you this. Let's see if I have the file. No, it looks like it's not there. Oh, all right. To reload your data, if I restart R, I can load my data again. I can also clear my data by clicking the brush icon. You can see here, if I click this, my data is gone. To reload the data, I simply go to File, Open File. I put my data on desktop. I need to find the data that I put. And here it is. You can see that here the type of data is called R Workspace. So I'll click here. AAU data, open, and here you say yes. And you can see my variable here appears again. And once again, I can view my data. If I do view AAU, okay, then and I run this command, then you'll see I have my data here. All right, one more thing. I can close these windows. If I want to save these commands and run these commands again, I can do so simply by saying File, Save. And then here I'll also save this to my desktop. I can save this as R commands. Okay. Thank you for watching.